Who saw this coming? Wait for this. This is going to shock you. This is going to shock you. Arsenal have signed Martin Ødegaard. Who saw that one coming? Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk. Back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of the Gooner Talk Raw Reaction series, where we discuss the latest Arsenal news, transfers, fixtures, speculation, whatever, anything to do with Arsenal. We discuss it here and get your thoughts in our live chat box. And Arsenal have announced the signing of Martin Ødegaard from Real Madrid on a 6-month loan deal, completely expectantly. We knew this was coming. We knew this was about to happen. It's finally happened. It's good to see that it's got over the line. It's been done. It is there. It is finished. And we can see that Arsenal have now sorted this deal. Thank God. Thank God that we finally got this done, because it was getting to the point where I was like, I don't think we're going to sign him. I don't think we're going to get it done because it's taking so long. We thought this was going to be on Monday. We thought this was going to be ready and finished and done on Monday. But no, it's fantastic to see that they have got their man and that we have now got some good cover for our attacking midfield position and competition for that place. We're going to go through his interviews. We're going to go through his comments. We're going to get your thoughts in the chat box as well. So let's go through exactly what the man himself has been saying since joining from the Arsenal, and find out what, of course, our representatives and executives have had to say. Let's start off with what Edu has had to say. He says, "We are delighted to welcome Martin to our club until the end of the season. I would like to thank everyone at Real Madrid and Martin's representatives for their collaboration in making this loan move happen. Martin is an exceptional talent, and we are strengthening our squad by introducing an exciting offensive young player to the club for the remaining months of this season." Arteta says it's great that we've secured Martin to come to us until the end of the season. Martin is, of course, a player that we all know very well, and although still young, he has been playing at the top level for a while. Martin will provide us with quality offensive options, and we're all excited to be integrating him into our plans between now and May. Going on to what he has said, and in his interviews, let's have a look what he's saying. It's the player that he idolised as an Arsenal fan. In Norway, the Premier League is really big, he says. Since I was a little kid there, we all watched all of the games, me and my friends. I think the biggest league is the Premier League, especially in Norway. So for me, it's always been a dream to play here, and I always liked the way Arsenal played and everything about the club. So it's a dream come true in many ways. There are a lot of Arsenal players that I admired, but I think Fabregas for me was one of my idols when I grew up, so especially him. The way he controls the game, the way he dictated the game, his ability to give assists and also score goals, everything about his game, I tried to learn as much as possible as I could when growing up watching him. He was a top player. Let's carry on and hear the other thoughts about the speculation and obviously the story of him joining Arsenal. He says, "I spoke to Arteta before coming here. That was very important for me, and he seems like a top manager, and I liked his ideas, the way that he sees football, and also the way that he is. He gave me a great feeling, and that was important for me to come here. He was crucial. I think every time you go to a new place, you want to make sure that it feels good and that there is a plan. But I think everything here just seems good. I like the club, and I always like the way that the club wants to play. Everything about the club and now how the manager wants to play, I think it's a club that really suits me well. So I think it is a good match." So there you go. Signing on the dotted line, crossing the O is the best way to do it. Fantastic signing. Really, really, really good signing from Arsenal to get this kid in for 6 months. We needed cover. We needed to bring someone that was going to provide competition. We saw in yesterday's game against Southampton, Emile Smith-Rowe being taken off. He wasn't able to play on Saturday because of an injury as well that Arteta confirmed. And it just nails home that point that Arsenal need to get these deals done so that we have the cover and competition ready and available for us to move forward and have that cover available. So it's a really, really solid signing for Arsenal, and I'm very, very pleased that we have got it done. We're going to get your thoughts in the chat box now. So if you've got thoughts on Martin Ødegaard, I want to see you firing those into the chat box. I'm hoping on the shirt they do cross the O. I was in such a rush that I haven't added it to the thumbnail yet, but it will be added by the time this is done. Matt Thornton says, just reading between the lines, he loves the club and wants to stay. I mean, this is the thing, is a lot of people I've seen have kind of criticised the fact that this is just a loan deal and that there's nothing extra on top of this. But the thing is that just because he's on loan with no option doesn't mean it's impossible for Arsenal to make this deal permanent in the summer if they want to. It's a deal that obviously brings in a player that has not really been given an opportunity at Real Madrid, that doesn't really have a position at Real Madrid to play. He's a 10/7 playing out on the right-hand side at times as well. And he's not going to be getting in on the right-hand side over the players that they've currently got at the club. They don't play with a 10 at the moment. They play with the single pivot and the 2 8s in front of the 6. And that's just not a position that Ødegaard will fall into. And if they do play him, and when he has played, they have played him at 10, but it's just not the system that they're typical to using at Real Madrid. If they have a different coach to Zidane come the end of the season, then maybe we will see the new coach want to keep Ødegaard. But I am personally optimistic if that he does well at Arsenal, which is the next thing to factor in, because obviously you're not going to sign him on if he doesn't have an impact at the club. We don't want this to be another, I'm not even going to mention his name, but you know exactly who I'm talking about. We don't need another one of those guys at the club. And so you're hoping anyway that he can have the impact that he needs. Abdul Rahman says, I love the fact that Fabregas is his idol. Let's hope that he can replicate some of that class onto the pitch. The Grand Duke says, exciting. Credit to Arteta. Also, if a flying fish doesn't fly, does a mud skipper skip? We're not getting into this now. We're not doing this now. Matt Thornton's talked about it. Daniel Roberts says, Harvard Nordveit as a possible player. Wow. I mean, I'm thinking of previous number 11s at Arsenal, and we used to have, didn't we have a Norwegian at the club? Like when they was really young. Anyway, Norwegian will feel right at home in the cold of London, says PRKRTR, which is going to be very true. It's not as cold here in London and in the UK, but it is pretty darn cold, de-icing the cars in the morning. Vinny, one of our fantastic members, says, with us signing a Norse god, do you think Odin's influence will favour us with the footballing? I mean, I'm sure he'll have a word to put the fax machine in, look down on Arsenal with as much positivity as possible. Jamie Denton says, very talented boy. Let's hope it works out for both parties. Charlie and Guyan says, Ødegaard needs a guard of honour. I mean, we are getting carried away, as Arsenal fans do, as we love to do. We love to get carried away as Arsenal fans. And what ultimately this is for Arsenal is a good signing, because it's going into a position that Arsenal desperately need cover in. Emil Smith-Rowe, as we've talked about already, is a player that has faced fitness problems throughout his time at Arsenal and has faced those very recently. Why he didn't play at the weekend, why he came off against Southampton yesterday. If Ødegaard is fit, which we are still awaiting information about, we are assuming that ahead of the Manchester United game at the weekend in the press conference, Mikel Arteta will be asked about the fitness of Ødegaard, and fingers crossed he is going to be fit and available as soon as feasibly possible. There were rumours that he'd be out until March, which is a load of rubbish. We should be seeing him much, much, much sooner than that. So fingers crossed we do, because he is a real talent. And if he can recapture the form that he managed to encapsulate at Real Sociedad, we've got a hell of a player for the next few months of the season, and someone that we hope will have an impact on the side. Speaking of short-term loan deals, there is always going to be time for a player to transition. Always that it's going to take a little bit of period of time for a player to come in and ultimately have an impact on the team. And we've got to give that man patience. We've got to be a little bit patient with him and not jump on his back if things don't go right just from the off. We need to be understanding of that fact and know that it might take a couple of games before we see the best. If he does come in and start smashing it, amazing, and he'll deserve all the credit in the world, and we'll give it to him. But at the end of the season, we can reflect upon what has been a short-term audition, in a way, for Martin Ødegaard to come in, and fingers crossed we can get something done for him if things do go well. Mitchell Balden says, developing other clubs' players is a bad move, in my opinion. This is not my thinking at all. Arsenal needed cover. We needed to bring someone in. It is better than bringing no one in. And if you're going to get anyone, getting a young, hungry player that's going to give us something is excellent. Low moves are something which can benefit clubs anywhere. The biggest clubs in the world still have loan moves, so they make sure that they've got competition for places and cover. It's not about developing another team's player. They're not even our rivals, Real Madrid. It's not like we're taking something from Man United, loaning them for a season and developing them. This is a young player that's going to add something to us. Look at the impact that Dani Ceballos had in his first season, and his partnership with Granit Xhaka was part of the reason which helped us move towards winning an FA Cup. And so at the end of the day, it is something that we need to do, and I think it's a very negative view to think of it as you have there, Mitchell. So I hope you keep an open mind regarding his incoming moving forwards. Matt Thornton says, why do I keep reading from people he's injury prone? He's played load of games last season. He did. He had a couple of injury issues, nothing major. And he's come back to Real Madrid and he had another small issue, but it's nothing major. It's just players get injured. Like, you'll very rarely find a player that hasn't got many injuries, especially at Arsenal. MIL Reaction says Suarez was a January signing and he had an impact for Liverpool. Exactly. Obviously, they had one on a permanent deal. But Aubameyang was another January signing for us, as was Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan in his first 6 months did okay at Arsenal. It was kind of the long terminology of his time at Arsenal, which was more of a problem. But we have had January signings come in and impact the club. Jose Antonio Reyes is another one. Arshavin. Was Arshavin a January signing? You'll tell me in the chat if it was. But Antonio Reyes was, rest in peace, fella. And he had a massive impact on helping us to that end of that invincible season. Was really important there. January signings are important. They are things that need to be done. There are examples where they don't always work out, yes. But sometimes it's just better to do it than to not. And it's certainly someone that's going to add to what we need. And you look at the players that we brought in, like Willian, he's going to be, I can't put into words how much more committed this guy is going to be to try and develop than someone like Willian is going to be. So that's ultimately what we need to focus on. Thomas says, previous Norwegians at Arsenal. Now, Thomas, I am worried, as I'm sure you are Scandinavian, and you're going to absolutely hate the fact that I'm going to pronounce these players incorrectly. So I apologize in advance. But we've had Paul Linderson in 91 to 94. Håvard Nordveit, again, I'm sorry. We've had Sean McDermott, and of course George Lewis, who joined the under-23 squad this last summer from Fram Larvik. Sean McDermott is not coming up as anything for me regarding Arsenal. I've never genuinely. Is he a youngster? He's 27, and he came through Arsenal's youth academy between 2009 to 2011. Left Arsenal in 2012 for Leeds on loan, and then left for Sandnes in Norway, and has kind of continued in Norway. Didn't even know that. So there you go, son. That is some excellent knowledge regarding Arsenal. Scandinavian players in general. Arsenal, we think of Swedish players, Anders Limpar, Freddie Ljungberg, Kim Kallström, obviously. But it's a nice relationship that we have had. And we've had some really good players come from Scandinavia into Arsenal. And we're hoping that Ødegaard will be the next one. Kanu obviously came from Ajax, being he's Nigerian, right? I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. And yes, he is. And I think did we buy him from Ajax, or was it buying from someone else? Inter Milan. Sorry, he went from Ajax to Inter Milan, and then we bought him after Inter. So we have good relationships with Netherlands. Netherlands isn't Scandinavia, is it? Is it? No, it's not. My geography's going all on today. So you're looking at a player that is going to add to Arsenal's team. And what I am hoping for us to see is that we get someone that impacts the squad, that can add to the team creatively, and that can ultimately have an impact at the club whereby at the end of the season we can reflect, we can look at the deal, the clubs can sit down. If they want to pursue a permanent deal for the player, amazing. I know that Real Madrid do not want to lose this guy permanently, and it would take a significant figure, I think, to secure him. But what this certainly is not, is it is certainly not a pointless loan deal whatsoever, because we've needed cover. And what it also does in the context of the financial side of things, especially regarding January signings, which are not they're few and far between in terms of quality, January signings. You're never really going to get too much out of a January signing in the short term and the long term, just in the short term. And so bringing someone in this month is always going to be a risk. But if you're going to be looking to bring someone in that you've wanted as your plan A or plan B, it's unlikely you'll get them in for either a good fee or at all. And you would have to then go down your list of priorities, and you'd probably end up on your plan C, plan D players in January. This is a smart move financially because it means Arsenal have not overcommitted to any player in January. They can look at the summer and go, did the Ødegaard situation work? Did it not? If it did, great. Maybe we could pursue a permanent deal. If it didn't, we haven't wasted any significant outlay on a fee. 2.5 million euros. This is costing Arsenal about that anyway, which in the context of who we've moved on this January doesn't cost us anything in net. So it is something that is savvy and smart and something that Arsenal can revisit in the summer. Now we need to get behind him. Now we need to support the guy. And fingers crossed he has an unbelievably good impact at Arsenal for his time while he is here. And we'll see as early as we can when he gets into the Arsenal team. If you've enjoyed the talk about Ødegaard, then please make sure you drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We do shows absolutely every single day. There are mere tickets, tens of tickets, less than, there might even be 10 tickets left by this stage for the signed Arsenal Thierry Henry shirts. There is 15 tickets left. Link is in the description to our sponsors, Football Prizes. So check that one out. And if you'd like to help support the channel and join up as a member, you can do. I'll be back tomorrow talking about all things Arsenal and any further transfer rumours that we might be linked to. And on Friday, we'll be having a chat to Kevin Campbell at 2 o'clock UK time, followed by a 5 o'clock Let's Talk Arsenal show. And interspersed between that will be a show looking ahead to the game against Manchester United at the weekend. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell to get told when our shows go, and so you become the stars of our chat box. Always a pleasure to speak to you. We will see you again very, very soon. Welcome, Martin Ødegaard, and we'll see you on the next one. And as always, up the Arsenal.